Hello and welcome, everybody. A good evening from my side. My name is Lisa Jans, and as you can see, I'm not here on my own today. I have a special guest, Jan Kronenberg. Hi, Jan. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me tonight. I have normally a special audience who is coming from all around the globe because I offer job coaching, and people are looking for jobs in Germany. Now, for several years now, it has turned out that not just the job interviews are taking place online, but also more and more people are working online. And Jan, for everybody that is watching us tonight, is a movement coach, and he knows exactly how to help us with freeing our bodies from tension and pain. And that's why I thought he would be the perfect guest for my audience to learn a little bit more about physical exercises that we can do from our working from home office place and just anywhere where we are, so that we can integrate that into our daily lives. Now, we have a couple of people that are watching already. Feel free to let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from. We are very happy that you're here. And if you have any questions, or if you have any tension in your body or any pain anywhere, also let us know in the comments, and maybe Jan can help us out to give us some exercises how we can free ourselves from that. So, before we dive more into those physical exercises, Jan, you are a German guy. You are from Germany, but you're currently living in Belgium. So you're an expat in Belgium. But where are you from in Germany? Where did you grow up?
I am from a very nice town called Solingen,
Ah,
which,
okay.
yeah, which one or the other person might know because it's famous for blades and knives and scissors.
Mhm.
It's basically in the middle between Düsseldorf and Cologne, which
Yeah.
are very well known. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
where I'm from.
From that area. Okay. That's interesting and wonderful. And it's actually like, how far away from your hometown do you live now? Like, do you normally drive by car sometimes if you go back, or do you never go back to Solingen?
No, I actually just visited my parents this weekend. So
Okay.
no, it takes me about 2 hours by car. So it's
Oh
totally
yeah, okay.
doable. Yeah.
That's good. That's wonderful. Yeah, but still living the expat life, it still has all its surroundings and ups and downs with living with a different culture in a different country. So you can probably relate very well to the people that are watching tonight. And just let me get some comments here on our stage. Kerstin is here. Thanks for your support. Woohoo! Nice to
Hi,
see you.
Kerstin.
And then we also have Josep here. Hello from Germany, Lisa and Jan. And yeah, so you are already here as well. Thank you. It's really wonderful that you guys are here. And Jan, is Solingen also your favorite city in Germany, or would you say you have a different favorite city in Germany that you would recommend for anybody?
Boah, tough question.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously, Solingen is home. So
Mhm.
in my heart, it is the best
Yeah.
city. I have to say, objectively, I tend more towards Hamburg, which is
Yeah.
super nice.
Yeah.
And actually, Leipzig and Dresden are also super nice cities, which I can
Yes.
recommend. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Those are wonderful recommendations. And I can totally agree. I mean, I have to admit, I've never been to Solingen before. And now that you've told me that, you have to give me some inside tips where I can go to, just find myself around. But as you say, it's normally best to have somebody who lives there to walk you around and show you
Yeah.
around the places. But I have to admit, my favorite city in Germany is also Hamburg, even though I'm
Mhm.
not from there. I'm from so my hometown is called Halberstadt, which is just between Magdeburg and Hanover.
Yeah.
But I used to live in Hamburg for quite some time, and I loved the city, and I still do. It's really wonderful there. And now that you mentioned Dresden and Leipzig, I just moved to Leipzig, and I can
No
just
way, I didn't know.
so
Funny.
nearly all the boxes are ticked.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And it's
Perfect.
it's a gorgeous city. I can
Yeah.
totally agree that you say those are beautiful cities.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. So now my next question would be, I would like to know what you wanted to be when you were a child. So what kind of dream career did you have in your mind when you were a little boy?
Yeah. I think the first thing that I remember that I
Mhm.
wanted to be is a chef.
Oh, wow,
Or
really?
cook. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
That's the first thing that I tried, I want to
Yeah,
say. Uh,
yeah,
so yeah, my mother was very happy because I was cooking and she
yeah,
could take a break.
yeah.
I even got a uniform, like a chef uniform
Oh,
from
yes.
a friend's mother.
Yeah,
And yeah, I was constantly wearing that and just trying different recipes, which were really like super basic, but for me it felt like they were super fancy.
yeah.
And that's the first
First
memory I
idea.
have. Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting. That's actually something that I've never heard before, but it's really good because it has still something to do with a healthy lifestyle at some point. And but it's so I assume your mother probably showed you how to cook, so that she integrated you from an early age, and I love that. I love when moms or families do that and integrate their children into the cooking process.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And
I mean I had to iron my own clothes, wash my own clothes from when I was 12. So
ah,
my mother was really about having me do the most important
all
things
the
in the house.
households. Yeah. Okay, but that's
Yeah.
just good because then you have to be self-sufficient at some point and know how to help yourself around if once you have your own flat. So why not start at an early age?
Sure.
Okay, so you wanted to become a chef. That's really interesting. But now you are a fitness trainer and movement coach. And especially, you always say that you are specialized in freeing or freedom from pain and tension. What does that actually mean? Why that area? And how did you turn out to become a fitness trainer and not a chef?
Yeah, that is a very good question, which I've never been asked in that way. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, one topic that has always been in my life is sports or
Yeah.
athletics in any way, because also something my parents took care of is that I am physically active.
Yeah.
So it made sense for me to do something, physical, something sports related in my life when it comes
Mhm.
to earning a living. So I actually tried working with a children's sports group for about half a year, and I found
Okay.
out that is absolutely not my thing. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
That's
I
funny.
don't want to dive too deep in those reasons, but
Yeah. That's
for
fine.
myself, I drew the conclusion it's better for them and for me if I don't do it.
Okay.
So yeah, I was not sure what to do at that point. So I just by accident I started working part time at a gym as a fitness trainer because I liked exercising.
Mhm.
And then actually I also started studying while still working at the gym. I studied health and fitness management. And through that, I got a lot of different licenses and a lot of knowledge, and also knowledge about business aspects of the fitness industry.
Mhm.
So that's what I was doing. And when I was around, I want to say 21, almost 22, I actually got back problems myself because I have a genetically twisted hip. So
Oh,
up until that point, I never found out. And then all of a
yeah.
sudden, I had like shooting pain through my back into my legs. For some time, my legs were even numb. So I had difficulties walking in my early
Oh,
20s.
wow.
Yeah.
That's intense. That's really intense. Okay.
Yeah, and then a very dark time in my life started because I was looking for help on the medical side of things and from different physiotherapists, chiropractors, and stuff. And I feel like because of my age, I've never been taken as seriously as I should have.
Yeah.
Because there's always this misconception of, oh, he's young, he like back
Yeah.
pain, it can't be that bad.
Yeah.
And that is not to say that every chiropractor or physiotherapist is bad. Not at
Yeah.
all. There are great people out there, but I just didn't get the right connections. So for me, it was a very frustrating process of about 2 years until I reached a point where I was so frustrated that I said, okay, I'm going to do this myself. I'm a fitness coach myself. I have basic knowledge about anatomy. So I'm just going to read up and study as much as I can about basically fitness training in terms of getting rid of injuries and pain and tension. And I just tried it on myself. And it was a very long process, but it took, I want to say, about 9 months that I really felt like, okay, I'm getting something somewhere here. And obviously nowadays I'm free from pain and I'm doing good. So I want to say about 1.5 years was the whole process that it took me to find out what works for my body. And through that, basically, the flame got sparked to go from showing people how to get a big biceps and a six-pack to helping people who are in a similar situation as I was, right? Who are in pain, who have a lot of tension in their body. And I mean, in the end of the day, it's about quality of life, because that completely goes down no matter what you do, may it be in your job or in your private life with your family, kids, friends. You're always in pain. You always feel those little aches and that tension. And if that is gone, everything's just so much better. So that is really something that I started working on. First at different gyms which were focused on working that, so I got experience, and then I also started doing coachings on the side, which were actually already online about 7 years ago. So and about 2.5 years ago, Chris approached me, who's a longtime friend and who's an IT consultant actually, but he always loved fitness, so he wanted to do something in fitness, job related, and he said, hey, I want to start something here. I got my own education as a personal trainer. You have expertise in that topic. Let's do something. And then we basically sat together and said, hey, it totally makes sense. You have this office job experience. You have experienced neck problems most of all, because most people have neck problems who have an office job. And I have the expertise of how to get rid of that. So we threw it together. And now for the last 2.5 years, we've been working in that and helping people, mainly integrating movements in their life, which the body needs, without them having to take extra time to go to the gym or, I don't know, to roll out the yoga mat or whatever. If people want that, we do it with them. But our promise is that through specific movement tailored towards your body that you can integrate into your everyday life, we help you to get rid of those tensions and pain and aches.
Yeah. Wow. That's just so much information, and I have so many questions.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I talked a lot here.
No, that's really good. It's so exciting and interesting. So you let me try to remember all the questions that I have. So you started from an early age to do sports. Was there a sports club that you went to? Did you play like football, basketball, or volleyball or something like that when you were younger?
Well, I think up until today, I did about 11, 12 different sports in my life. So it started with me being very young, just doing athletics and swimming. Soccer, tennis. I even did arching at some point.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I did rugby. Then they broke my nose, so I quit that. So I did a lot of different things, even fishing, which is also considered a sport, actually.
Yes, of course. Yeah. So it's very diverse, and it's quite similar to when you're a person that is very interested in various sports, you just try it out and just go with the flow. As long as it is fun and you don't break your nose, everything is fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Okay. And then when you realized that you had those hip problems and that you found out this genetically twisted hip, was that through an X-ray, or how did you find? So a doctor told you that you have this genetic problem?
Yeah.
Or, and then you started. Sorry,
you go first.
so a doctor told you and found that out through like an X-ray or like not a genetic, like a blood test or something. You don't find that out with a twisted hip through that, and because that's actually the most shocking point that you are just telling me, and I realize that this must be happening a lot, that when you are a young person that you are not taking seriously, because as you said, you're young, you shouldn't have any back pains, there shouldn't be any problem, you will just go to the gym or just figure it out on your own, and then you're just left alone. And I can totally understand that a dog's time started at that point. But I wanted to know, like, who told you and why couldn't they give you help?
Yeah. So the first thing, you go to the doctor, you're in pain. So the first thing they do is give you painkillers and send you home and say, okay, come back in 2 weeks, which I did. And then they did a few tests and said, okay, you have to go take an MRI, which is MRT in German. I did that and I got my results. And I mean, at this point, I was a fitness trainer for like a year, so I didn't have any clue of what it said. Nowadays, I can totally read through it and tell you what it is, but back then I couldn't. So I just completely trusted the doctor's opinion. And so I got my results, and he was like, yeah, Herr Kronenberg, maybe you should not do so many sports in your life because your body is really destroyed already. And so yeah, just take it slowly, and especially like things like rugby and stuff, like definitely not, and no weight training because it's very bad for your body. So me being the young guy that I was, for a few weeks, I did that, and then the pain got worse. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna start weight training again, and it helped a bit. But it actually took about 2 years for me to find a doctor who just took a look at me for 2 minutes, and she was like, yeah, Mr. Kronenberg, you have a twisted hip, which is something that causes pain, but it's okay. You can live with it. You can do any sport you want. The only thing is you need to take care of your body and do the right movements and exercises to balance yourself out, and everything will be fine. And surprise, surprise, 6 months later, it was already way better, right? And then another half a year later, I was pain-free. So
wow. Because that's the thing that I just thought about, that somebody had to tell you what you need to work on. If nobody finds out what the cause is, like where the problem sits, then how could you dive into all of this research about this topic of the twisted hip? Now, if you're working with a person one-on-one, I don't know whether you do that, like in person and not just virtually, but maybe also virtually. Can you also see whether a person has a twisted hip, or is that something that is not recognizable for I mean, you're trained in that field. Would you be able to see that?
Through the camera, I have to say no. But I have different ways of finding out. So just saying that my coaching is completely online. So obviously I have everything is always, I see it as tools in a box, which I as a trainer and as a coach have to my disposal or not. And a common misconception is that I see a lot is people are like, how does it work? Online personal training, you can't touch the client. And that's the connection most people have in their head is, a personal trainer is someone who's there to tell you how to do it better and touch you. But that's really not how it is. Touching in personal training is something that you should only do if there's no other chance. Obviously I don't need it, and I don't do it, and it works perfectly without. So I have the right questions. I have the right symptoms that tell me certain things are the case or not. And most of the times when people really start working one-on-one with me, so a very intensive coaching, they go to the doctor, get the results, and bring them to me just to double check and make sure that we are on the right track.
Okay, I see. But that's interesting. So now this is one of the most important questions as well. So what do you offer? You say that you are doing individual coaching and you offer everything online, but do you also offer something, for example, like group coaching or so?
We basically have two different coaching, I want to say, packets.
Yeah.
For those who actually enjoy group training more and who don't have that much of an individual need, we do group trainings every week. And for those who really have a high need in individual coaching, we do one-on-one trainings. And then, of course, after some time, we can go over into a mix of both, or some people go through 3 months of individual one-on-one, and then they go into group training because they're already feeling better. So it's very individual and very diverse what we do. At the end of the day, people sit down with me and I make a plan which brings people to their goal. And how we achieve that, the way itself really depends on the person, how much time they want to invest and how much they need to invest. Right?
Yeah. Obviously, I assume if there is a person with chronic pain or that has some sort of pain, they need more individual training. And if it's not that urgent or not that specific, then you could probably start with a group version, for example. And there is, so first of all, there's a thumbs up from Bindu, thank you. And Kerstin is saying personal training online works very well. Woo! So what I'm just thinking about, I remember when I just started studying, I was 20. I was quite old for my age to start studying. And after 1 year, I realized that my body was, so I had back pains and I didn't know where they were coming from. And then I also got an MRI and they told me that my spine had been, I don't know, condensed and twisted also. And they told me that I should do some sort of yoga and other training. And then I also started with yoga and I realized that I have muscles in areas that I didn't know existed. And this is also something that I assume when I would be working with you, or for example, other people are working with you, that especially with regards to this working from home, you're always helping people to integrate that in their everyday life. Why do you think is that so important?
Well, the biggest factor in everybody's life is time. So not everybody is willing to spend 2 hours in the gym every day, which I totally get. I also had times in my life where it was like that. And every time where a young father or a businessman came in and I could see that they had skipped the last 5 workouts, I was like, what are you doing with your life? Get your priorities straight. And then they were like, get to my age. So at the end of the day, it has to be effective. So if I can get you to your goal, which is complete comfort and freedom from tension and pain, with 10 to 15 minutes a day, perfect. I'm going to do that. I mean, we could also train for an hour if you want to, but it's not needed. So you can put that time into work, family, whatever you want to do. And that's really the big promise that we give people is our exercises are so specific and effective for your body that you don't need to invest more time. If you have other fitness goals, if you're like, hey, I want to get rid of my back pain, but I also want to build a big biceps and have the 6-pack of my dreams and stuff like that, then of course we say, okay, we need more time, and that's fine. But if it's really just about general health and getting your body to a state where you're completely comfortable with it, it really only takes 10, 15 minutes of specific exercise.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's really interesting. And it's also what I really like is this individual approach, because everybody has different tension, different pain, also different feeling towards pain. So I really like that you're offering that to everybody that is seeking help. Would you be willing to show me an exercise that we can do here to share that with the audience that can maybe, I don't know, help with a posture, or you give me some sort of exercise that I can do at home in between?
Absolutely. Of course. That's what I'm here for. I just want to give a quick little explanation because for most people, this will be completely new. So especially talking about an office job, most people have problems with neck and shoulder issues. The thing that gets neglected the most when it comes to specific training for that is actually your hands, because your hands are in this position 80% of the time, maybe 90% of the time. So and mostly your fingers are bent. So what your body is craving is actually movement within your fingers and your wrist joint to balance it out. And if it doesn't get that, that tension that is created here goes further up the chain and mostly causes problems in your neck muscles and maybe headaches. So of course I could be like, hey, I show you a neck stretch, but we want to get to the cause of the problem. So we are going to train our hands now.
Wow! That's funny. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So the first thing that we do with our clients is basically make sure they can rotate every joint and move every joint to the full extent. If you can't, then we have to work on that because there's a lot of potential for movement and for relaxation. So we're basically just going to move our wrist joints. What we need to do is, wait, I'm going to put this to the side. Just tell me if you can still hear me well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I hear you properly.
So, elbows close to the body. Yeah, and your arms can basically be straight. So 90 degrees in your elbow joint. Okay. Perfect. So, and all we do.
I would just push up my chair a little bit so that you can see me better. Okay.
Yeah. And all we do now is keep our elbows close to the body, really press them in, and just start rotating your hands in any way they want to move. That's fine. Just give it the freedom of movement. Yes, exactly. Most important thing is that we keep the elbows close to the body, because otherwise, you continue. I'm going to explain this. Otherwise, we start moving through our elbows, and then we compensate with other muscles, so we don't really reach the point that we want to reach, right?
And then we look like a swan.
Yeah, perfect. See, and then you just used visual language, which is actually a big tool in my box in everyday work with my clients. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so now switch it up, other side. Yeah, and maybe you or maybe the people doing this as well right now, you might notice that there's maybe a little crack while you do it, or you feel that one side is a little more difficult to move in a certain direction, right? So that is what I call potential of movement, right? Bewegungspotenzial in German.
Yeah.
So
I can feel that I have more tension in my left arm somehow.
Yeah. You're right-handed.
Yeah. Oh. Yes, I am.
Yeah, because you move it more. You move it more. So of course, where is movement, there's also relaxation in it. It's just something that follows, right? Okay, cool. So now just shake it a little bit. Up and down, winky, winky, hello, cool, side to side. Perfect, and just release it. And now you should feel a nice warmth through your hand and through your wrist and maybe even through your forearms.
Yeah, I do. That's exciting. It's really fun.
Yeah, so
I've never thought of that before.
Exactly. If you think of maybe headaches or neck tension, neck problems, you always think of like doing these stretches and hear those stuff, which is totally fine, and we also do that. But the big difference and the big factor why our coaching is actually really effective also in the long run when people keep going alone without us is because we trigger or we use those key points, which for your body always is anything that is connected to the outside world at some point. So we're talking about the hands, we're talking about your head, or most of all your jaw, because when we have stress, we tend to bite a lot, or some people do that at night. And your feet, which are the connection to the ground, right? So your feet are the base of your existence. And if you hear it like that, it makes sense that you train your feet, because they have to stabilize everything that you have, right? And everything that you do needs to be buffered through your feet. So that is the big difference.
Wow! Oh my gosh! I don't even know. I feel really relaxed now.
Nice.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and it's something where I see that you definitely have a very holistic approach, because you are not just working, as you say, for example, you would normally think about just the neck and the shoulders, but I've never heard that I have to move my hands.
Yeah,
Never before. That's
of
just
course.
an epiphany now. Okay. That's really, but it makes so much sense. Okay, we get more we get more hearts here, I think. And Kerstin is sharing some feet.
Yeah,
Thank you,
exactly.
guys. Really good. And but as you say, and I totally agree, everything is connected. And this
Mhm.
is it. I just felt it when I was doing this exercise that, I mean, it was this tension here, and I thought, oh no, he's going to find out. He's going to find out that I'm not moving my left arm. But I've never thought of that. Of course, it makes sense. If I'm right-handed, I'm not using that hand as much.
Yeah,
And as you say, constantly just sitting in front of a computer and just typing, and you never know that. And when I go to the gym, for example, nobody ever tells me, okay, we need to do some hand exercises now.
of course not. People look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah,
If you start doing this and this, right? So
yeah.
obviously, there are 1,000 different exercises that you can do, but those are just super quick and super simple.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and
I
you can
also,
do it in between, even when you get like
yeah,
somehow you just want to get some sort of energy push and feel some sort of low after your lunch break or something, you can just simply do that.
yep, exactly.
That's really good. Okay. So what do you like the most about doing this job, this movement coaching?
What do I not like?
Okay.
I don't like administrative work and using
Yeah.
Excel and stuff. But
Yeah.
no, luckily I have an IT consultant who's helping me with that. Right?
Very good.
Chris, shout out to you.
Hi, Chris.
Yeah. I want to say, I mean, obviously getting good feedback from people, which is by now that we have a good amount of clients and a good reputation build up for ourselves, which is pretty much daily. So that obviously gives me a lot of joy because I can completely relate to what people are going through and how people feel in the beginning, but also at the end. So obviously that really touches me, right in the heart, so to say.
Yeah.
But I also just love the process of movement, doing it together with people. Like I really enjoyed this 1 minute that we just did for the hands. It's great. It's fun. It's what I love. And seeing your reaction, and how surprised and amazed you were by that. I mean, that is great because I could add value to your life and to your day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's all I need.
Yeah. Wonderful. And it's this win-win situation that I see with a lot of coaches, where in whichever direction they're working in or whichever field they're working in, it's just seeing your clients and coaches strive and just their joy and how they are progressing is just so rewarding for us as coaches as well. So it's just a benefit for all sides, a win-win situation. And I can totally relate to that. And now, is there anything or like when you were to describe your favorite coachee, how would you do that? So not a person specifically, but let's say like a wish customer or something like that. How do they normally behave?
Well, I think all that I ask is that they do what I say, because then I can guarantee the best results.
Yeah.
That is really all I can ask for. Of
Yeah.
course, I'm happy if people are outgoing and just naturally positive people, because that is something, actually one of the reasons why I did not enjoy working at a physiotherapy praxis.
Yeah. I don't know how you call
Center,
it.
physiotherapy
Something
center.
like that.
Yeah.
Let's say center. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because you work with people who are in pain or who are sick, and most people who feel that way don't feel good, which is normal.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
And then it is on the trainer and on the staff to make things nice, to make it positive, and to create a positive atmosphere, which was absolutely not given. So it also dragged me down, and I felt like I could not perform the best I could. So what is great for me is when I do it on Zoom, people forget where they are. They just
Yeah.
focus on what's going on the screen, and I can create my own room, so to say, my own virtual room, my own positive environment for people. And if they add to that, that is the greatest thing that can happen, because then we just have a lot of fun and just move a lot, which is great.
Wonderful. Let's all move together. Have a moving party.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And that, yeah, it makes sense, because obviously when you're working as a physiotherapist in a center like that, I mean, I've been there various times, and it's normally very strictly checked. They don't have enough time to take care, to find out individually what's going on. They normally have this sheet of paper that they get from the doctor, and then the physiotherapist is doing some sort of exercises. And I've seen various physiotherapists who did a good job and others who didn't do a good job. But that I can now totally understand why, because you're in an environment where everybody is in pain and just just worrying the entire time, and just whining and saying everything is so bad. But when there's positive energy, obviously, and now you have this power, now you have this not just this power to do that, because you are organizing that with Chris together, so that you have this option to and possibility to do and spread this positive energy. But it's also a great offer for everybody to jump on that train, to use your or just to spread this positive energy through you and let it flow through the movement that you're all doing. Sounds really amazing. Really
Jump
good.
on the movement train, people.
Jump on the movement train, exactly. And what's the most difficult when you're working with your clients? So, for example, from my perspective, I think that if there is a person, an individual that has very has some sort of pain, is it difficult for you to find out what the cause is? Is that the most difficult about the job, or is it the administrative side of things?
Well, I mean, obviously, every once in a while you come across someone who has more specific needs, and where even I have to read up and do some research. But up until now, that has always worked. So, and that obviously also is a learning process, and it teaches you a lot. So I actually love that. It's a challenge. I want to say anything marketing related is a lot of fun for me, but also at the same time, marketing is a lot about numbers and consistency with numbers and everything like that. So keeping those Excel sheets and doing it every day is maybe the least fun for me.
I can totally understand. That makes because it's like you want it to come naturally, but with all of these marketing algorithms that are going on, you need to be consistent. And that's also one of the tips that you already gave me at another time when we were talking. So that was a great hint, like this consistency. And I mean, consistency is also something that is important when you're doing movement, right? So it's something that we should integrate into our everyday life, right?
Yes, absolutely. That's something that I actually still wanted to say, but I completely forgot about it. Is I said that I do not train 2 hours a day with people, or they don't have to train 2 hours a day. But the reason for that is that every day we take a little bit of time to do something. So your personal individual movement routine, which does just the exercises that you need and nothing else, it should become as much of a ritual as brushing your teeth or I don't know, having your morning coffee, things like that, because it's at the end of the day, you're taking care of your body and your health. So why not make this a routine, an essential part of your day? Right?
And we only have this one body and we only have this one health. And normally people only start realizing that they have to work on their health once it's too late. Yeah. So for me, I mean, I've mentioned that maybe a couple of times before to one or the other of my people here in the audience, that I suffered a long time from migraines, and now it's at the point where I realize that that I can understand the differences between tension pain or tension headaches and actually a migraine, because actually from what I have found out is that the migraines are caused from emotional stress that I have, and the tension pain, if that is sitting too long in my, or this tension is sitting too long in my neck or my head, then it can also turn into a migraine at some point. And that is something where I see myself totally that I need to work more with you guys. Because that is something, as you say, it needs to be integrated into your life, because it's just this one thing that you have. And I've learned that I try to get my body to a point that I just simply relax. I do that through just taking breaks and so on, because that was actually something that was very difficult for me when I started being self-employed. I was just constantly working, self-employed, working all the time. And that was the most crushing point, because I completely neglected my health at some point, to the point that I had constant tension in my back. And now just taking breaks also helps, and doing this, like for example exercises with the feet, just like to really walk, for example, in the grass or outside, but doing exercises with you and Chris, I think that is something that I will pick up from now on. So
okay, we'll talk later.
We'll talk later, exactly. And so now you say that you're also learning when you're working with individual coaches, for example, and they have some sort of specific pain. But do you, I don't know, how do you normally stay up to date with what is going on with the body? Do you still continuously learn something, and how do you do that?
Yeah. Well, I think when it comes to anatomy, I got it figured out. Obviously I studied and I got all my trainings licenses, and I had to learn every bone, every muscle, every joint, how it works, what it does. So obviously that does not change as much as maybe training ideology. Because it's constantly evolving, and we're always finding out new things about our body which can be applied. But to be honest, most people that I learn from are people that I follow on like Instagram or other trainers that I know still from my career that I met at some point, and we just talk and we figure things out and try things for ourselves, right? Because before I find, like, if I find new exercise or new ways of training, I always test it on myself before I start doing it with my coaches, with my clients, because I want to find out what does it do to my body, and does it make sense to me? Which is also basically how I got rid of my pain. I just tried it and saw how my body reacted, and that is actually how I figured out that I need to train my feet to completely get rid of my hip and back pain, right? So a lot of learning by doing, but also just looking at people who've been doing this longer, who have more knowledge. What do they share? What do they do? And just talking to people and trying stuff.
And that's always the best part, I think, because from talking and communicating with other people, you learn so much more from what is going on, like not just inside the body, but everything around. And it's just as you say, when you're connecting with other trainers and other coaches, it's just easier because they are obviously trying it as well, and then you have some sort of test group and you can discuss what worked well for you or what worked well for somebody else maybe. And that is also something that I particularly like about the things that you told me tonight as well, that this individual part, that you find out, okay, so this is the person, and this person needs this and that. So this is That's very interesting. And is there a specific area or like topic that you're currently most interested in, that you're researching a lot?
I want to say I have recently learned how to activate your nerves,
Okay.
which sounds very weird, probably.
Yeah.
But I
That's
mean, apart from the muscles and joints, we also have a lot of nerves in our body, and
Mhm.
those can also lead to tension or tension relief. And
Mhm.
that is a topic I've been diving into, and especially with neck and shoulder problems. Also connected to the hands and to the arms. That's something that I recently really studied up on, and something that I personally always look for is things to or exercises for your hip, because
Yeah.
the hip is the biggest joint, is the middle of your body, and it
Mhm.
has so many muscles and tendons and bones.
Mhm.
There's so much to do and so much to learn. So
Mhm.
those are the two big things that I've recently been doing, aside from all the LinkedIn stuff and all the client trainings and everything
Yeah,
that's been going on.
of course. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
But that's
and my own
yeah,
training.
yeah, but it's like you. I also think that this is something that that makes us happy continuously to learn. Also, it's like not just this. As our body loves continuous movement, our mind loves to learn,
Yeah,
and not doing the same things over and over again.
absolutely.
Okay, that's really interesting. And then there is a question,
Mhm.
actually two from Shazib. Hi Jan, can you please tell any exercise to rest back while working? So how to rest our back while we're working? I don't know. Okay, does that make sense? Because my back is always resting, isn't it, when I'm working?
Yeah, that is actually the big problem, is that
That it's
our
resting too
our
much.
yeah, our muscles and our joints are resting when we are sitting still,
Yeah.
and for a lack of a better term, our body or our muscles fall asleep,
Ah.
and that's why those tensions and those pains are actually created, is because
Mm,
the activation in our muscles and joints is not there anymore, at least not to a point where it should be.
mm.
And there is a syndrome with people who work at the office, which is called weak butt syndrome. um,
No.
because we are constantly sitting on our butts,
Yeah.
so our body's like, hey, this is great, I don't need this muscle, so I can just
Mm,
completely relax it. And
yeah.
and through that, the hip changes its
Yeah.
placement, and that's
Yeah.
how the pain is caused. So Josep, the simplest exercise I can give you is, every once in a while, squeeze your glutes as hard as you can, yeah, to activate them, right, just in between. You don't have to continuously do it, but every once in a while, when you think of it,
Yeah.
activate your glutes.
Oh, that's very good. He's also explaining a little bit more. I think it's a very individual problem.
Yeah.
So he says, because I have a bone broken between my hip bone and back vertebral column, by
Yeah.
which my nerves get pressed, causing a severe pain. And then
Hmm.
it goes on with, and I have been told to be operated, which I don't want. Hmm.
Understandable. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And he also says, okay, ha ha ha. Okay, so that
I
that's
mean,
about the glutes thing.
yeah. So obviously, that is just a little trick
Yeah.
to really, yeah, use in your everyday life. If you
Mhm.
really want to get to the root of the
Mhm.
problem, and to really fix it from the root, so not
Mhm.
only symptoms but really the cause of the problem, then if feel free to contact me and we can talk about it and we can set something up. Because
Yes.
operating is something that is very quickly recommended, and I don't have percentages here, but I want to say in 95% of the cases is really not needed.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can all be
That's
done through movement and proper exercising.
That's something that I've heard before, that a lot of doctors always recommend operations, even though they are actually not necessary. But also it's like a quick fix,
Mm.
and it's something when people are not like the person that actually needs the operation is thinking about this process of doing continuous work, and if the doctors normally give you this option of you need to get this operation, and you probably need to get this operation sooner rather than later, and but actually working on it like in movement wise would be more recommended. I've heard that
And
also.
And the thing is, to be honest, if you get let's say you get your hip replaced, which is
Yeah.
like a
A
huge
huge
dramatic
operation.
thing
Yeah.
that happens to your body,
Yeah.
you have to do the exercise and the movement afterwards anyways. So why not try it first and see where it leads, right?
Yeah,
It just makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense. And he also says mostly such operations are not successful either. Yeah, totally, exactly. So, and what Jan says, so try the exercises first, and then you can still think about getting an operation or not if you still need it. Then but that makes total sense. You can try that first. I also think that it's better for our bodies if we can heal ourselves before we get this operation. So, Josep, I also recommend get in touch with Jan. And that is also my question. Jan, how can people contact you if they need your help?
Yeah, so the best way is really through LinkedIn by connecting with me, and feel free to comment, like, or send me a message, whatever you feel like doing. I post very regularly in German. So if you need anything from me, contact me, and we can obviously talk in English. I also have a lot of clients who speak English. So yeah, just look me up on my name, Jan Kronenberg. At this point, we don't have a website yet. It's in progress.
That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the need was not really there.
No, I mean, and as long as people know how to contact you, and that's fine, we can find you on your LinkedIn profile, contact you, send you a message, you answer very quickly. And it's also that, and this is something for everybody that is watching, whether you're watching right now or watching the recording. Just keep in mind, Jan is, as he said, he's offering his services also in English if you need that. So feel free, don't hesitate to contact him. And all the exercises that he's sharing regularly in videos on his LinkedIn channel, they pop up on my feed every day. And I'm so happy to see him every day. And it's really recommended because you can do the exercises, whether he's explaining it in German or not, doesn't really matter because you see what he's doing. And so Josep is also saying again, it has been 4 years already. Thanks a lot, and he will contact you. Oh, wonderful! And now what? So basically, as you say, it's not necessary to actually have a website because everybody knows how to contact you. And for everybody that is watching, I have linked Jan's profile in the video description. So feel free to reach out. You just simply need to click on his name.
Yeah.
And now,
in case you're not active on LinkedIn, I'm also on Instagram, which is a very small profile, but you can contact me there. It's Jan_Kronenberg.
Ah, wonderful. I think I will pop that in the comments again for everybody that is watching on Instagram, and share it on my Instagram as well. Good point. And now, before we leave, Jan, is there one more final exercise that we can share with the audience, just that we can maybe do easily just in our daily life?
Yeah, of course. Well, we have one exercise which we are very much known for, which I'm going to try to translate that because the name is complicated in German. I want to say it's the up-looking carp. Yeah, so it's an up-looking fish. So as I said earlier, we focus a lot also on the key points of your body. So of course I want to show you another example of that, which we can do sitting, and we're going to train our jaw, which is very much connected to everything in the body through the vertebrae, but especially for people who have a lot of tension in their neck, have headaches, for example. And also shoulders, it's a great way to relieve tension within this area, and also that goes into the rest of the body, obviously. So I'm just going to turn like halfway here, right?
Okay.
So all we do is basically, the whole idea is we move our jaw of as big as a movement as possible. So we open it as far as possible, our mouth, and we close it as far as possible by putting our bottom teeth as far over the front teeth as possible. Okay? Yeah? Right.
Okay.
Very important on this is that we just look up to the ceiling. So just put your head back a little bit. You open your mouth and cruise as far as possible.
Okay. Hold on, I will try it this way as well. Can you see?
Yeah. You go for it. I'm gonna check on you. Yeah.
Hold on. Let me open the mouth even further.
Yeah. There you go. Exactly. And right.
And that is a lot of fun as well. It's just
and that's how it stays in the mind. That's why you don't forget it. Eh? But yeah, just keep going if you can. Right. And as everybody can see now, Lisa's neck muscles, especially in the front, are really working a lot, as well as the jaw. So she definitely will feel it in the front of her neck, which is a typical point which has a lot of tension if we look at the screen a lot, or also if we look at our phone a lot, because we always tend to be in this position. So we open all of this up by doing this exercise, and we move the jaw as far as possible to really get rid of the tension in it. Some people might even experience a nice pop or crack within the jaw. That really means you relieved a lot of tension from there. Yeah. Perfect.
I can even feel it here.
Yeah.
Is that possible? It's
that
really
is possible. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
What I like to do is, because we really do a lot of hard work with our jaw, and now we can just shake it out. So you just let your face loose and do. Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Good, and smile. Yeah.
Yay! Thank you so much. Oh, Jan, it has been such a pleasure to have you as my guest tonight. Thank you so much for sharing these wonderful exercises. It was just a real fun session to learn more about you, your expertise, and everything that you are doing. And yeah, the feedback is great here in the comments as well. Thank you, everybody who watched us tonight. For everybody that wants to see even more of Jan, just one more hint. We are organizing the Welcome to Germany Summit on the 29th of September from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. And Jan will be our movement coach and helps us to, just get you all moving in between so that you stay in shape in between, and that you just keep moving. So because we're sitting in front of the computer and you are listening to the experts, and then Jan is also sharing more about his expertise. Thank you very much for being here tonight, Jan. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
It was a night. Thank you. Bye-bye.